Hello, everybody. Welcome to my podcast. Whether you're listening to this in the morning, the night, driving to work, I hope you're having a great day. My name is George Zueta, and this is my podcast, Debunking 101, where I talk about the common misconceptions with various topics, careers, and information. In this episode, I'll be talking about the value of a social work degree, which brings attention to the common things that are missed when looking at this profession. Today with me, I have my good friend Nick, who is currently studying communications at El Paso Community College. But before we get into our discussion, let me say a brief history about social work. Social work is a profession that promotes social change and development. Commonly, when thinking about social workers, they are only associated with family matters. An example of this would be how social workers just take children away from their families. The work that social workers actually do often goes unmissed because of these preconceptions that society has made of them. And we'll be talking about what exactly social workers do later. Here's a history crash course. Social work was founded in the 16th century and was founded on the main principle of helping people. The first social work policy was the Elizabethan Poor Laws, which were placed to help with poverty during the time. Social work has developed so much over time, and social workers still provide resources to people who face struggles. All right, with a little context of what social work is, let's get into the interview. Today with me, I have my good friend Nick. Nick, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Nick Correjo. I currently attend El Paso Community College. I'm earning my associate's degree in communications, and I plan to earn my bachelor's degree later on in the future.
I know we talked a little bit before this about, what we're going to be talking about today, but what do you know about social workers?
From what I know with social workers is that they deal with family matters, and if a child is in need of adopting a parent, or like if there's a bad situation going on in the child's life, they can help with that and help them assist them in finding a better family and a better place for that child.
Yeah.
Since I don't know a lot about what else they do, can you explain to me, family or matters that they deal with outside of family?
Yeah, so social workers help with, there are various fields that social workers go into that do the kind of the similar thing of helping. So there's like helping with substance abuse, there's helping with hospice, the hospital social work. Most of the time with a social work degree, though, whatever profession you go into, you can specialize your degree to go into that.
Yeah.
But with a generalist social work degree, you can go into anywhere that
Mm.
can help anyone in any field.
So, so just to reiterate, you don't need like a specific field of work to go into any of the social work. If that
So
makes
most universities do offer a generalist degree, but you can work to specialize it. And then some professions require either your bachelor's or a master's degree. And most of the time, with a master's degree, they look at you better because it's a higher level of education.
right.
So yeah. All right. And where have you seen social workers like around you?
I haven't had a personal experience with a social worker, nor have I experienced any of my other like friends or family that have had experience with a social worker. But I mainly see it in TV through the media. And there's this one show called The Fosters that I have all my main information from. And in that show, the main characters deal with adoption and fostering kids, and we see a lot of examples of social workers coming in to help them and assist the children, finding a family and finding a good house to live in so that they don't get in a bad circumstance.
By the way, good show. Like, good show. How do
Yeah.
you feel about the spinoff?
I haven't seen the spinoff. I have to be honest. I haven't seen the spinoff. I need to watch it. Was it good?
I don't know. I liked it. I kind of watched only the first couple episodes.
Yeah.
All right. Why do you think people join the social work field?
Probably to, assist in like matters that like people can't help themselves in. So I mean, I kind of honor social workers for doing that because, it's like you have to like care about other people to do that degree, to do that job. And most like jobs don't require, like empathy, but in social work you have to have empathy to like help people and like understand them, not only like to like get them to where they need to be, but like to genuinely like like make them feel better and make them a better person.
Yeah, that's kind of the main root of social work is
Mhm.
people who do become social workers deep down want to either give back for the things they have received or, it's just something people do because they genuinely want to help people. And
Right.
that's so going along with that, why do you think social workers are important?
Uh, like I said, like we need social workers because it's a hard job because, like I said, not only do you have to like be empathetic, but you have to, you have to like have two sides. You have to have your empathetic side, and you have to have a side that has to like deal with stuff. Like it's hard, like taking like a a child away from a mother, but like sometimes it's necessary because that child won't grow up to be the best that it can if they're in a situation that's not good for them. So you have to have the empathy to do that, but the like I don't the you have to be brave enough to do it too.
Mhm.
That's why they're important in society and stuff like that. The one thing I was confused about is what is the difference between a social worker and a counselor?
Of course. So with the social workers work with individuals, groups, organizations to provide resources to people to get them out of the situation they are in.
Mhm.
While with counselors and like psychologists, they work with the individual to kind of resolve the internal issues going on.
Got it.
Um, so that's social workers just work to give them resources.
Mhm.
Um, but along with that, there's also you have to like know your place in social work a little bit. Sometimes you can become too attached,
Yeah.
and that could be kind of bad because with social work, there's the code of ethics that we are meant to follow. Um,
And do social workers and counselors like work together ever? Do they like have to help like work together for the whatever situation there is, or is there like a separation between the two?
social workers will give resources to people who do need counselors, but it would never be like a one-on-one counseling session between a social worker and someone because that's out of their jurisdiction per se.
Yeah. So I know we talked about like social work in general and the like major fields of it, but why do you are you into to becoming a social worker?
Yeah, so actually right now I'm studying social work at the University of Nevada, Reno. Um, yeah, so I want to become a social worker because I feel there's flaws within our system that doesn't cater to everyone.
Yeah.
What I want to do is I want to work in hospital because I feel like healthcare is just something that should be, I feel like everyone should have access to healthcare and it shouldn't be
Right.
costing them so much money that they don't have in the general. Um, So I want to work a little bit in policy change, kind of make sure we change the old fashioned traditional thoughts of what social worker is, um, and kind of apply it to the common issues that we're facing right now in our society.
Right. And I can see how it especially is hard because for the healthcare, I had COVID earlier in January, and it was so hard to like deal with insurance and deal with all that. So I don't know if like social workers, excuse me, go into that field, but like do they deal with like helping somebody like with healthcare and like insurance and all that stuff? Do you do that or do they not?
Social workers work to give them the resources to get health insurance, but it just depends on which state you're in because obviously there's different policies enacted and different requirements to have insurance.
Yeah.
But yeah, they just work on a case to case scenario and work to make sure they have the right resources because that's what it is at the end of the day. Uh, Often social workers are called because there is some type of economic or social struggle that they're going through that really social workers work to get them out of it,
Yeah.
but just give them the right resources. So it's not them giving everything to them, it's them saying, here's this, and see if you can kind of work your way out of it. Well, looks like that's all the time we have for today. So thank you, Nick, for being part of this interview. I appreciate you taking the time to listen, and hopefully you know a little bit more about social work than you did before.
Yeah, I definitely do. I learned a lot more, and I'm glad that we could have this conversation, and hopefully, it leads to more people, realizing how important social work is. So thank you.
Perfect. Well, you have a good rest of your day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Bye. Now let's dive into our favorite time. Debunking. Although society has placed such preconceptions on the social work field, the work they actually do is what should be showcased. Even in the interview with Nick, we kept circling around the idea of family matters. There are way more things that social workers do, and I hope that I provided the right information to make it clear of what goes unseen in this profession. An individual who studies social work does it to help those who are in need. Social workers do what they can with what they have and try to help those who are facing struggles. Before this episode comes to an end, I would like to thank our contributors. Thank you, Audionautics, for the groovy music. Thank you, Shara Reger, and thank you, Dr. Camping Guang. I found your input on this matter very informative and helped me understand the field of social work a little bit more. So thank you. Well, thank you so much for listening to today's podcast. I hope you know a little bit more about social work than you did before. Stay tuned for next week's podcast where we talk about the misconceptions in healthcare. As we touched on in this episode, we will go more in depth and crack down on the issues within our healthcare system. Thanks again for listening, and I wish you a good rest of your day.